What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, Dude to Bet Daily, August 31st, 2023, week one, college football officially here. We've got Thursday night games. We got bets from those Thursday night games, so we'll get to that. We've got a phenomenal series in baseball. Short card, but we get Braves Dodgers tonight. Got a best bet coming from that one as well. Great day of horse racing, too. We got Saratoga, we got Del Mar, and we got Kentucky Downs. Before we get it going, want to give a shout out here to Aaron and Jared, who revamped the website so we can have free grids on the website now as well. So there's a free Somobomb's grid at Kentucky Downs. If you have a login, just log into your account. That'll pop right up on the dashboard there. So some nice free action there at Kentucky Downs. Aaron, what are you most excited about this weekend or today? I'll give you either one.
Oh my gosh, you said it. This is like crazy, like everywhere. You know, it's hitting you from all angles. You got a big baseball weekend. You've got a great opening weekend of college football, Kentucky Downs, Del Mar, Saratoga. I'm going to pick Del Mar on Saturday is what I'm looking most forward to, because I think that is a really great card there, highlighted by a Pacific Classic that I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot in the days to come on this show. Not today, maybe, but I just feel like that Del Mar card's great. So give me Saturday, Del Mar. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
And Papa Dude, you've got your Oklahoma Sooners shirt on there. They've got a game on Saturday. Are you ready to start the Heisman campaign back up here for our boy Dylan Gabriel?
No, let's just win a game. Keep going.
I can't
build on something. Aaron, I believe this is the first opening day we've missed since we had our season tickets, right?
Yep. Yeah, this is the first time. First time we haven't been to the game. I've got family coming in, and you're moving, and it's just like, I can't make it this week.
No, it's an 11 o'clock kickoff, and it
didn't work out.
They're not playing a real good team. It's just no buzz, really. So we didn't go. I'm looking forward to the entire weekend of college football. It's not just Saturday. We have a good game on Sunday or 2 or 3, and we cap it off on Monday with one as well. So there is Florida State LSU on Monday.
Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. And then Clemson and Duke's on Monday, I think.
Yep.
So we've got a full slate all weekend of college football.
I'm excited to see that Florida State LSU game.
Yes.
If for no other reason, it's going to drastically affect the Heisman odds right out of the gate. You've got 2 of the top 5 Heisman odds quarterbacks going at it head-to-head there. Should be a phenomenal game, too. Came down to a missed extra point, if I remember this correctly. Or was it a short field goal? One of the 2 for for LSU right at the end of the game there. Should be another great version of that game. I love having these home-and-home matchups, or these, we're going to go 2 neutral sites with these 2 big-time teams early in the season. And Florida State going to get tested a lot early in the season. They've got a September game with Clemson coming up as well, Aaron. Should be a lot of fun to see how Florida State is and if they are, quote unquote, back this year.
Yeah, Papa Dude and I covered that last night, and we said to kind of, hey, look, if Florida State gets through September 3-1, which means they would have won this game or the game at Clemson, all their goals are right in front of them. But the test is there for sure. Now, the good news for Florida State and their fans, this is a very experienced team. It's not like they're going to break in a lot of new guys and they're going to have growing pains. Shouldn't be that way. They should hit the ground running. I don't know. It's going to be really 2 really, really, really tough teams that they're going to have to go beat. But this is a really interesting game. That LSU-Florida State game, man, that could go either way. I kind of like Florida State there, or excuse me, LSU there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Florida State beats them.
Now, we're going to have a busy day here on the channel as well, kicking it off here with Dudes Who Bet Daily. Magic Mike show today at 2 o'clock. We'll be covering the late pick 5 from Del Mar, including the Pacific Classic. So we'll get that conversation going. Aaron, I know you and Jared are on later with blinkers off as well. Do we get a Dudes Who Bet Daily today too, or Dudes Who Bet today as well?
That was yesterday. That we did it early because they got family coming in. So you can check that out now. I'll preview all the college football games from week 1. Papa Dude and I did. Then, Jared and I are going to actually be on here in about 53 minutes. We're going to do blinkers off early. So that'll be all the big races and maybe, I'm sure some Travers recap as well. So, it's a busy, busy day today for sure.
Yeah. And Rob, both the Kentucky Downs picks 5s should definitely pay. You got tough fields across the board there. Hard to go short or where you go short. Kind of want to find 1 or 2 races, take a stand, and then spread like crazy in the others, see if you get some prices. I've got a 30-1 in my top 4. I've got multiple 21s, got a 10-1 on top. Yeah. It's one of those tracks you want to go price hunting. And just to get out in front of this, the camera angles are brutal. The stretch is forever. And you can never know who wins a photo finish there. So don't get ahead of yourself. just a quick Kentucky Downs reminder before we get that meet going. All right, guys, let's jump right into it here. Let's kick it off with Utah and Florida. This line has been all over the place. Cam Rising, the big talk at quarterback, just 8 months off an ACL surgery here. Heard it in the Rose Bowl. We saw Rourke come back for Iowa last week off 9 months, last about 2 series, and then he was gone. It's very unlikely you're going to see Cam Rising in this game, according to everything that I've heard. Utah's second-string quarterback actually got hurt at practice 2 weeks ago. So if Cam doesn't go, you're going all the way down to the third stringer here. Utah is still floating between that 4.5 to 5 point favorite in this spot. Total sitting at 44. We'll see if that gets dropped down a little bit as well with Rising. When Rising officially gets announced out, which I would expect is going to happen here in the next 5 or 6 hours. Aaron, we'll kick it off with you. Florida, Utah. Who do you like here?
Well, Papa Dude and I talked about quarterback battles yesterday on the show, and we weren't talking about Utah, but just other schools. And two of the kind of the telltale signs that you're struggling as quarterback is if you don't name a starter until right up to the week of the season, like Ohio State, like Alabama, or if you announce we're going to play 2 quarterbacks, right? That's always 2 bad signs. Utah, Kyle Whittingham said they're probably going to play 2 quarterbacks tonight. That's a sign to me that they really don't have one behind Cameron Rising here. I love Utah as a team. I think they are a better team than Florida, but this quarterback situation has me really, really worried about what Utah is going to do here. So I'm going to stay away from this game. I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to sit and watch. I'm not sure what's going to happen. When you are playing 2 quarterbacks, it's the old adage. That means you don't have one.
Yeah, Papa Dude, interesting spot here for Utah as well. Getting the second half of this home and home. We talked about LSU, Florida State. Utah beats Florida in the Swamp last year and was able to go in there and get the win. Anthony Richardson looked phenomenal. Now you've got Utah at home. Probably one of the biggest home field advantages, let alone week 1 at night with a big-time SEC opponent coming in. Total sitting at 44. A little bit lower than you'd expect, but I don't see either of these teams really putting up a ton of points, especially with Rising out here. What do you like here, Papa Dude?
Well, I loved Utah. That was my best bet. I had it first, and then the news broke this morning that he's pretty much not going to play. I think how far has Florida fallen that they're getting no respect on this? This is an SEC team that has got some talent. The state of Florida is going to give you some talent. It just showed this line has not changed since the announcement came out for sure. That is a total lack of respect for Florida, and it could be merited. I don't know. I don't like Florida's quarterback at all. He's transferred from Wisconsin, and he was not very good. He is experienced. He has played a lot of games. I'm staying away from it because if you're down to your third string quarterback, you're going to struggle, I would think, to score. So that total is 44. They could struggle to get to that. Most college games don't, but that might be one you go under on, especially if Utah can't move the ball. I'm just going to stay away from the game because I just don't know enough about their quarterback situation.
Yeah, Graham Mertz transferring in from Wisconsin. You said it well there, Papa Dude. Really struggled up there in Wisconsin. Now he's going to have better weapons. He's got 2 good receivers on the outside here for Florida. Has 2 good running backs. But their weak link is the offensive line. And you don't want to go on the road week 1 with a bad offensive line in a very loud environment. That doesn't generally bode very well. I agree with you. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. My best bet actually comes from this game. I'm going to take the first half under Florida-Utah, under 22. I just don't see Utah wanting to play up and down the field with Florida here. I think Utah's defense is going to be able to shut Florida down, especially early. And I think you're going to see conservative game plan from Utah early because of having their quarterback out. On top of that, we've got the new rules factoring in here. Utah is going to keep this ball on the ground as much as possible with a third stringer in there in my mind. So I'll take the first half under 22 here as my best bet. I don't think we're going to see a ton of points early. This could be one of those, let's call it 10-7, maybe 7-3 type first halves, Aaron.
Yeah, Ricky actually texted me this morning. He's going to play the same thing you are. I don't know if that's good or bad, Somich, but it makes the most sense. And you guys analyzing Florida, when you look at, listen, this Florida team was not very good last year. And when you look just on paper, what we know about them, they don't look any better to me. Now, again, with everything that goes on in college football now, sometimes that could be a little misleading. You never really know until you see these guys, but on paper, I was with Papa Dude big time. I was like, look, I think Utah's gonna kill them tonight. But we saw it last year, Papa Dude, when these first teamers got hurt at quarterback because of the transfer portal. The depth really isn't there anymore. And we saw some second stringers really struggle. Now we're talking about third stringers. That's why it's like, gosh, I really like this Utah team, but I feel like I got to stay away. So,
yeah.
That was an interesting line too. If you went over the summer, this was as high as Utah -9. I think that was the assumed line here. If you were going to get Cam Rising to play, it was 6.5, 7.5 about a week ago. We heard that Cam Rising wasn't going to play. I'd say the rumors mill started churning about 2 days ago. That's when this thing dropped back down to 4.5. It's kind of where it found itself. I was expecting this to get closer to 3 if he's officially announced out. So I'm surprised it's as high as 4.5 or 5 right now. I think that home field advantage for Utah, really a big thing. They're like one of the elite teams at home with up to a 4.5 point advantage there. So I think that's definitely playing a part in this. Let's jump into a conference game now in week 1. Nebraska heading in to take on Minnesota. Minnesota laying 7 here, starting the rule at Nebraska, going to be his first game as head coach. Total sitting at a paltry 42.5 without Iowa in a Big Ten game. Kind of surprises as low as 42.5. We'll start with you, Papa Dude. What do you like here?
Well, this is a really interesting game. I almost thought about betting this one as well. Minnesota is one of those traditional 7-5, 8-4 teams. You know, they're never any better than that. That's what you're going to get this year with them too. We don't know what Nebraska's going to be. We do know that Matt Rule is a good college coach, and I just don't think he's had time to turn that around. And when you look at their starting quarterback, that's where I really got soured on the Huskers. They're starting a kid from Georgia Tech. That's not good. That is not good at all. and I just think they're going to struggle. Now, Minnesota lost their best running back and their quarterback. So they're going to this is why this total is 42.5, I think. And Minnesota likes to run the ball. So they do have 2 of their top 4 rushers back. I think they're going to control the game. I think they're going to win. It's just hard to tell what the rule effect is going to be in this. Will that make a difference in the first game? I don't know. So I'm a little leery of this game. 42.5, that's low, but I think that's right on the button. I don't think I see this one 20, 24, 20, 20, 21, 20, something like that, 21, 14. Maybe I ought to take Nebraska +7, but I don't have the guts to do that.
Yeah, it's a hot 7, a touchdown quite a bit here with the 42.5 total. Very NFL-esque type lines here. Rob chiming in here. He likes the Nebraska +7. What say you, Aaron?
Good luck. I mean, listen, I made so much money betting against Nebraska the last 4 or 5 years. It's unbelievable. They're always overvalued, in my opinion.
They are.
They're overvalued here. I'm sorry. Until they prove that they've got players again, I'm not looking at back in Nebraska at any time. I'll take Minnesota here. Good luck, Rob. One of these years Nebraska's gonna be decent, I guess, but it's just been so long since I've seen this Nebraska team. And listen, everybody thought Scott Frost was the next great coach. I mean, there were so many good things and good feelings about him. They were a disaster. To me, Nebraska's went through some good coaches, guys, and they just haven't been able to get it going again. Matt Rule, another good one. I really believe that. And maybe he does get it going, but I got to see it before I believe it. Give me the Gophers -7 tonight.
Yeah, I played this one at 6.5 when I got it, when they were popping up randomly about a week ago. And then I played it again at 7. I think there's a huge trenches advantage here for Minnesota. If you look at the defensive line for Nebraska, they've got 2 upperclassmen. Both of them are right around 300. No one else above like 260 that's going to play here on the defensive line for Nebraska. Minnesota's offensive line, all upperclassmen, all 330 plus. I think they're going to have success moving Nebraska around at the line of scrimmage. I think that's going to allow them to push past this touchdown. So I played Minnesota -6.5, played them again at -7. I like Minnesota in this game. I think it's a tough spot to go. And I agree, Matt Rule going to be a good coach at Nebraska. It's going to take a little bit of time. He needs to get a recruiting class in. He needs to be able to get those guys through the program. And I think they're going to be a team that's better later in the season than earlier in the season. So I took some Minnesota -7 here. Let's jump over to The baseball game here, Braves minus 145, Dodgers plus about 120 to 125, depending where you shop. Total sitting at 8 or 8.5, depending where you're looking. Winds blowing out 10 miles per hour. You've got Spencer Strider on the hill for the Braves. You've got Lance Lynn, who's been very good since he came over to the Dodgers. Papa Dude, will start with you because you've got your best bet coming from this one.
Right. This is a classic late season series between two teams, as you said, are probably going to be in the championship series in the National League. I don't know. I'm sure they have. The Dodgers, my God, what kind of a tear have they been on? Just about 2 months ago, they were just struggling right around the 500 mark, and now they're challenging the Braves for the best record in the National League and in the entire league. And they would have it if the Braves don't win every day. But they do the same thing. I mean, you talk about two teams that are playing really, really well. I took the Dodgers tonight because you never get the Dodgers at home as an underdog. And I think I just can't turn that down. They've been playing so well. They're ready for this one. Lance Lynn is one of those guys that you put him on a good team late in the pennant race, he pitches extremely well, and that's what he's done. So I think he's going to be ready for that. I think he's going to pitch well. I think that we're going to get to Strider. There may be a lot of runs scored in this one late in the game when they pull the starters. I think it's going to be a classic series. I'm going to take the Dodgers at plus 122 because they're at home and they're playing great.
Yeah, I think this is – I don't know how you can take past the Dodgers at plus money here. I agree with you. I think I'm surprised. Like you understand Spencer Strider, your favorite for the NL MVP right now, very good pitcher, but has a tendency to get beat up every now and then. And this is a very good Dodgers lineup. Braves lineup, obviously phenomenal as well. I like the over here at the 8. If you can get it, still like it at 8.5, not quite as much. Shop around. There are 8 still available out there. To me, these are two offenses that can hit the cover off the baseball. And with the wind blowing out 10 miles per hour, I would be surprised if you don't have one or two hiccup innings here. And all it takes is one or two hiccup innings with these two offenses to get over that 8 total. Aaron, what do you think about this Dodgers-Braves game?
Yeah, I took the Dodgers as well. I think it's a pretty good pick there. Plus 122 is hard to turn down. Look, Strider very good, but the Dodgers can really hit. They're at home. And you're right. The Lance Lynn thing is interesting. I pretty much thought he was done, and he looked done. He was just bad, guys. Trade him to LA. He's pitching well again, and he's had some really, really nice games. I think if they get a good outing from him, they're going to win. So, yeah, I got the Dodgers tonight. Going to be a fun series and a really fun game to kick it off here.
A real quick question, just yes or no. Papa Dude, is this our NLCS preview?
Oh, I think so. We were talking about it off air. Unless there's a huge upset somewhere along the line, these two teams are way better than anyone else in the NL.
Aaron?
It seems that I have a hard time. Listen, it's playoff baseball. Anything can happen, but these two teams just seem better than everybody else. I think the Brewers are playing awfully well, but I don't think they match up with these two teams.
Yeah, the Brewers just playing Brewers baseball right now. The new Cardinals of the Central, if you will. And their pitching staff really has come around quite well, and that's been the difference for them here in the second half of the season. All right, let's jump into the race of the day. Head over to Saratoga for the With Anticipation. One of my favorite races at Saratoga each year because we get these younger horses, 2-year-old males, going a mile and a 16th on the turf. And I say males, but we've got one filly in the field. The one horse here going to be running for Bill Mott as a filly, sired by Violence. Sitting on the board at 7-2. Your favorite, the 2, Spirit Prince, 3-1. You've got Nomos on the outside, 4-1. Pletcher, Irad coming in for Monmouth. You've got Carson's Run, the 8 horse for Clement, also 7-2. Dylan Davis taking that mount. He's had a lot of success with Clement before. Got a couple interesting speed horses in the middle. Wide open 7-horse field here. Who you got, Aaron?
This is a great race, and I'm going with the filly. I'm going number 1, Gala Brand on top here. You look at the breeding. You mentioned Violence, and then you look underneath, and it's like, man, that's all European breeding, which screams going longer. Debut at 5.5. Mott is not great with debuters. They usually run better second out. 5.5. It's like, I'm not sure. If that's going to be right for this horse. She aired. She looked fantastic. I think the stretch out's really going to help her. I think second time out for Mott, the horse will run very well as well. I think there is enough pace in here for her. I think she checks all the boxes. So I went with the rail horse here at Saratoga.
Yeah, you look at the Dam side family, all 4 of the Dam's victories routing on the turf. She also produced James Aloysius, who we've had at this meet, 2 for 6 over the turf, 1 down at Gulfstream Park, ran well here at Saratoga as a shorter price, did not win that race. I'm with you. Give me the filly here. I like the price of 7-2. We'll see if we actually get that. I love that sprint debut. Was 14 lengths back at one point, able to just circle the field and golf them, win by over 2 lengths. Never really asked either when you go and watch that back. It was all about just the hand ride and the gallop out. Thought it was really impressive. And I do think there's enough pace early here, but I wouldn't expect her to be 14 lengths back going a mile and a 16th either. So this is one of those spots where if she's able to save ground on the rail on both turns and wheel out, the kick is coming here after what we saw in that 5.5 furlong sprint. So I will go with the 1 as well. Papa Dude, clean sweep. You going somewhere else?
I got nothing to add. You pretty much covered it. I think there's a lot of speed in it. There's 3 or 4 that I think are going to go. The other Mott horse gets spooled, I think his name is, or spoiled. What is spooled? He went wire to wire, or she did last time, and that was one you might kind of look at. But I'm thinking there's going to be enough pace that this horse is going to lay off, just like you said. And this horse wouldn't be in this race if he didn't think she could win it, right? Why would you put her in here? Yeah. So he thinks she can win this, and she was great. I think she makes that big run, but probably doesn't have to come as far this time, and nails them. So I'm all with you guys. All 3 of us are going the rail horse.
Yeah, the pace is going to be interesting here. Wine Collector last time went gate to wire, the 3 horse. I don't think Wine Collector's on the lead. That was 25.49. The 4 horse, I think, is probably your early leader. If you look at the 5 gets spooled, Papa Dude, you mentioned the other Mott here. That horse went 25.50. It's interesting that Loscano decided to stay on Get Spooled instead of on Brand, but I'm wondering if that's because Brand also entered in the Phillies version of this race where she was not running or decided not to run. They decided to keep her here, and Jose Ortiz picked up the mount. I think the 4 horse is actually your early pace here. Market Street, first time trying the turf, ran the Saratoga Special and the Sanford on the dirt for Dwayne Lucas. This horse is fast. We're talking like 22.45 fast. Could get clear. Any chance Market Street can take him gate to wire in?
I don't think it's impossible. I think with this turf course right now, it's really tough to take him gate to wire. And so I think that's kind of going to be the biggest issue. I mean, we've kind of seen it all year, and especially the last 2 or 3 weeks that speed has been tough on the turf. It's been tough to go gate to wire, where the dirt it's kind of been favoring. So definitely going to be the one out in front. I mean, we've seen Lucas pull upsets in the past, maybe, but I don't necessarily like this one all that well.
Going to be interesting race here. The contention runs deep too. I'm interested in the 8 Carson's run on the outside as well. We'll see if that horse able to continue the winning ways, was able to come home in about 30 seconds at a mile and 16th, breaking the maiden there at Saratoga. So has the distance advantage here on a couple others as well. All right, well, we ran through the best bets here. I took the Utah first half under 22. Papa Dude on the Dodgers. We got one left here. Aaron headed back to Saratoga race number 10, horse number 10. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here with this one. I'm going to go number 10, Lady Hamilton. Like I said, in the 10th race today at Saratoga. It's a big-time class drop. I think that's the biggest thing about it. This horse has been running at Gulfstream Park in stakes races or allowance races. Now we're dropping down to the claiming company, so I think that's a pretty good sign that this horse, they've spotted this horse to win. You're going to see this a lot on closing weekend. You drop horses where they can win. If they get claimed, that just means you don't have to ship them back to wherever you're going next. Irad Ortiz gets a board here. Safi's not a guy that I usually play at Saratoga, but when Irad gets a board, I do, because that means it's a pretty serious runner. So give me the 10 Lady Hamilton in the 10th at Saratoga today.
Yeah, Lady Hamilton, pretty interesting here. You mentioned the Safi angle. This horse has been at Saratoga since July. They just haven't found the right race for Lady Hamilton. So I agree with you. She's dropping here to kind of get her out of the barn. I like the other class dropper in here. I had the 10 second, but I put the 5 Miss Bonnie T on top. Also dropping in class. Also was in the Gulfstream last time we saw this horse. It's successful in the Saratoga turf. And Philip Antonucci, sneaky, having a good meet here. Only 11 starters, but 2 wins for an 18% clip. Also 4 other horses in the money. Was the 5 one you considered, Aaron?
Yeah, I think that's the other one. I mean, that's the one that'll probably beat me if I lose in this one. Coming off of the layoff, but I doubted the layoff for Arcangelo for Antonucci, and that didn't work out very well. But this one is a longer one, 245 days. A drop down in class here though as well, and a horse that to me, I think it's a 5 or a 10. I really don't like anybody else in this race. So yeah, I mean, I'm scared of the 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun little last race as well. I was a little interested in the 2 Home for Christmas too at a price, but I think the 5 and the 10 are the 2 clear win candidates here. All right, thank you very much here for joining us for Dudes Who Bet Daily. Be back same time, same place tomorrow, talking more sports and horse racing, leading into a monster weekend at both Saratoga. Well, closing weekend at Saratoga and a monster weekend over at Del Mar. Let's run through the best bets before we take off here. Aaron going with Saratoga, race number 10, horse number 10, Papa Dude taking the Dodgers, plus 122 today. And give me the under first half, 22, Florida and Utah in the week 1 kickoff game there. For the record, 0-0, up $411 for the year. Thanks again for joining us. Good luck with all of your sports and horse racing bets. We will see you tomorrow.